It is a lot warmer. It's nice.
Now folks, I mentioned while we were outside how this was the newer section of the jail. Basically, the idea of building this octagon building was to separate out the criminals. So you would find in this room those in petty crime. Petty crime includes petty theft, petty larceny, simple assault, things like that. The good news, a petty criminal may only be held in this jail for a maximum sentence of 2 weeks. Bad news, you're in a cell this large for 2 weeks with 19 other people. There are 5 chamber pots amongst the 20 of you to share. Chamber pots are cleaned out about every 2 weeks. So you can thank the students, these are not the original floorboards whatsoever. Now, there was no such thing as discrimination here at this jail. It did not matter your age, race, or sex. If you were found guilty in Charleston County, you were held here. Now, obviously, there was separation amongst race and sex. So, ladies, we were not in the same cells the men were. In fact, men and women were held on 2 completely different floors. But this jail was one of the first few reformatory prisons of its time. This is a system that's actually still in play. No longer were forms of public embarrassment being used. Today, you are pulled out of society, removing you of all your rights, and you're kept in a place like this where you can repent for your actions. Of course, in the 1800s, after repent, you also start seeing the words corporal punishment brought up. Now, there were several different types of corporal punishment used here at the jail. One in particular looked just like this device above me. This is a duplicate. My boss made this with like 15 bucks worth of supplies from Home Depot. The original one was downstairs on the first floor of the building, or what you'll hear me refer to throughout the tour as the basement. But after 60 years of abandonment, by the time the original was discovered, it was useless. So, nice pretty one was made here. Now, on the books, this was known as the triangle, because, well, it sort of looks like a triangle. But the newspapers ended up calling this device the crane of pain, which, honestly, in my opinion, is a pretty accurate description. See, when one's actually set up in such a device, this will not cause one's death. It will cause pain, and it works on a very simple scale. Victims' wrists were placed inside of slipknot ropes tightened down to the flesh so they'll slowly dig in. Feet locked inside of a box filled with bricks, basically anchoring you to the ground. Once you were nice and secure, ropes were pulled, stretching you as tall as you possibly could have been, and then you're left there, anywhere from a few hours to a day or two. 2 days in this device. You are not a very happy camper. Arms have gone completely numb. Breathing will become a challenge within the first hour, and, oh yeah, when you sleep, your shoulder blades dislocate. If you've never seen this on someone before, it's actually not very pretty. Now, this device also doubled for the use of beatings and whippings. Now, keep in mind, not everybody at a jail got a beating. This is actually something you talked about with your lawyer in exchange for time. So, depending on your pain threshold, depends, would you rather be here for 2 months, or would you rather go through X number of beatings? Well, the thing is that the weapon of choice by many of these whipping men was actually, in fact, a cat of 9 tails. We're familiar with this item, yes? Mm-hmm. Right. If you were to make one today by traditional standards, you would actually really prefer to use cotton cord, or pretty much roping instead of leather. And you would have a handle with 9 tails, of course. And these tails would have been pretty much filled with knots. Now, the knots are going to break up, going to bruise up the back. But as they're dragged across, they're going to yank off little bits of flesh, giving the equivalency of road rash. If anyone here has ever fallen off a bicycle, scooter, or skateboard, you know exactly what I'm speaking of. It hurts, it stings, it burns, but you're not going to die of it. And that's the whole idea behind corporal punishment. You weren't supposed to die. Now, this is just one of several documented forms of corporal punishment. There are probably just as many, if not more, undocumented forms that have yet to be discovered. Now, does anyone have any questions or anything while we're still in this cell? No? Alright, we'll go ahead and continue on then. So, guys, follow me. So please watch your steps as you come through this threshold. It will go up and then back down, kind of like a speed bump. One and two.
On the road.
Now, folks, if you know this is a wall partition that's been added to the room, and the reason is what's on the other side is nothing. I'm not being sarcastic, I really do nothing this new floor. So I'm not tricky there. The students are actually on the other side working, they're trying to put the floors back together. But that is one of the probably more common complaints I hear. Folks will say, well, all the student stuff is everywhere. Folks, this is their college. They can put their stuff wherever they want, honestly. Graciously, they've been able to go ahead and clear out many of the cells, and they're pretty much the only reason why this building is standing. These students actually stabilized this building, saved it. And just by taking this tour, you guys actually help those students. See, what many people don't realize is when you purchase your ticket tonight for the tour, a portion of your ticket price will be donated back to the students at the end of the year. This will help to buy supplies.
Where are the students from? Where are the students from?
The students are from pretty much everywhere. But the school itself is by itself, just the school. That answer your question?
What kind of students are they? I'm sorry.
Oh, architecture students.
Okay.
Yeah.
The College of Charleston?
No, this is a completely separate school. It's known as the American